This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video. With how long this video took, I'm gonna need it. So, I think I get Death Stranding. Death Stranding is an open world, semi-avant-garde, existentialist, post-apocalyptic, meta-fictional, semi-autobiographical political post-modern art house anti-war, I think, a single player but also kind of multiplayer, narrative third-person stealth action Amazon package delivery simulator, and stars many famous faces like Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, Lea Seydoux, Margaret Qualley, Lindsay Wagner, Conan O'Brien, what the hell? It includes original promotional music by Major Lazer, Churches, The Neighborhood, and Bring Me the Horizon, what the fuck? First, let me just say, I really do genuinely love Death Stranding, but I'm also very confused by Death Stranding, as even when compared to MGS, Death Stranding is a much more, avant-garde approach. Sometimes I imagine a Bring Me the Horizon fan who has no knowledge of Hideo Kojima at all picking up the game because they made a song for it, only to be met with what I can only imagine to be, you know, maybe some like mild confusion. And as a result, it's a very misunderstood game. One that people have called a boring walking simulator, but in actuality is much deeper than that.
Like Mario and Princess Peach.
And never mind, I take it back. So today I'm gonna try and do the impossible, which is talk about Death Stranding. Dear God, please help me.
You're gonna work with the rest of us to rebuild America.
You think you can recruit me? I don't care about connecting anything, because it was hard enough keeping my own shit together.
Give me back my BB.
Come on! And I'll do what I have to help Amelie out.
It's almost time to go, Sam. I'll always be with you.
But don't worry, I'll find her. And I'll keep her real safe.
Everything I touch, I lose. The world's still broken. Same as before.
But we're still here.
Okay, so first things first, the Kojima splash screen is kind of fucking awesome. Part of me thought this was the beginning of the game at first, but no, this is just the studio logo.
Holy fucking shit, what the fuck?
The rope, along with the stick, are two of mankind's oldest tools. The stick to keep the bad away, the rope used to bring the good toward us. They were our first friends, of our own invention. Wherever there were people, they were the rope and the stick.
We begin with a Norman Reedus monologue.
Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave birth to time and space.
It's kind of similar to Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, but now with the dude from The Walking Dead Survival Instinct in it.
Dad, no! Once there was an explosion. A bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
We then get a bunch of gorgeous establishing visuals. Like, goddamn, wow, this looks good. This game uses the Decima engine from the Horizon Zero Dawn games, which you have to admit is a very visually impressive engine for sure. Even when the game cuts to Norman Reedus on his motorbike here, it takes me a minute for my brain to realize, wait a minute, this is a video game.
God damn.
Speaking of which, here's Norman Reedus, delivering packages for Amazon apparently. However, the Fortnite storm is coming and there's something off about the rain, further proven by a crow dropping dead and quickly aging right in front of us. Aw shit, if I touch the rain, I become a unk and can't listen to Netsped anymore. So he drives away but is jump scared by a French woman.
Bonsoir. No.
Goddamn French art house actresses, they always ruin everything. Anyways, we get a small brief hint of gameplay and go to this cave over here.
Way out the rain over there.
Yes, indeed, I do agree, Mr. Sam Norman Reedus. By the way, look at the cave deer here. He's so adorable. I hope nothing. Oh. Yeah, whatever this rain is, it's not fucking around. And neither is Sam's realization that he might not be alone here. Okay, that's, actually terrifying. I think the dying plant life is also a nice, scary touch, but then we get jump scared again by the French art house woman. No, please, I'm afraid of women. I don't talk to them very much. For what it's worth, though, this is an incredibly intense scene, but I'm not entirely sure what the fuck is going on yet. But this thing eventually leaves the cave, and Lea Seydoux starts crying. The two then look outside and see some vague figures in the sky. And then Norman Reedus starts crying. So now we get our first real bit of dialogue.
I think they're gone. What the hell?
I told you, I hate art house.
I mentioned earlier that Death Stranding is kind of divisive, and this right here I feel is the first big reason why.
So, you have dooms, like me.
I've got the extinction factor, but I think you got me beat.
The game does not make it clear what the fuck is happening. Now, to some extent, actually a very large extent, this is intentional. You see, in Metal Gear Solid, there's a lot of turns out and a lot of big confusing plot twists. But even so, Metal Gear was pretty coherent as to what was happening, what things were, what the universe was. And even when things got actually confusing, it was kind of like obvious it was trying to be confusing. In Death Stranding, though, the universe the characters live in is not very clear.
Tears. A chiral allergy.
The fuck is a chiral?
So, you have dooms, like me.
We just need someone like you with dooms.
This job has requirements. Dooms.
Oh, that's amazing to hear, but what is dooms?
Remember that you'll be passing through BT territory.
What is bro talking about? You are given a bunch of jargon all at once. You're given weird, surrealist sci-fi imagery, and a lot of it is very vague. And you don't really get any real answers until near the end of the game, as a lot of the grand reveals and plot twists are intertwined with the world building. Now, I think that's really cool, actually, but it's also admittedly very hard to follow. With that being said, this is intentional, and there is a vision behind it. I just want to establish that right now. Cool, cool. So apparently Sam and Leia Sado here have something called dooms, and this condition allows Sam to sense monsters nearby, I guess. Well, Leia Sado, whose name is revealed to be Fragile, because she works for Fragile Express.
Yeah, I thought Fragile Express had plenty of people.
The names do not get much better as the game goes on, by the way. Has the ability to teleport. It's also established that Sam Porter Bridges, that's his full name.
Sam Porter Bridges. The man who delivers.
This is because he's a porter and a former Bridges Company member.
Freelance contractor Sam Porter Bridges.
It would be like if they called Gordon Freeman Gordon Scientist Black Mesa. Anyways, Sam here is established to be insanely socially distant, which we see as he quickly jerks away from Fragile.
What the hell? Didn't mean to grab you so hard.
Now, to be fair, a little later, it is revealed he has a fear of touch.
Effing phosmophobia.
Damn, poor dude. But putting that aside, he's also just kind of a stoic asshole.
I make deliveries, that's all.
I'm a nihilist.
Even when Fragile reveals she got caught in the timefall rain, Sam just does not give a single shit.
Not much left of me either. Got soaked from neck to toe.
I can't help you with that.
Okay, bye.
Anyway, so Fragile teleports away, and now we're left to head back to base. Set to the song Don't Be So Serious by Low Roar. I'll talk about all this stuff in a minute, so just be patient. But for now, we gotta deliver some smart drugs, and get a new task immediately afterwards, where we meet up with some guy named Igor.
Igor, Bridges Corpse Disposal.
Wait a minute, corpse disposal? What exactly are we transporting here?
He's got a date with the incinerator.
He wasn't quarantined.
Not sick. This is a suicide.
Jesus.
So we're transporting a dead body here, which are apparently a big liability, as in this universe, corpses are dangerous if not incinerated for some reason.
Well, he's already in the first stages of necrosis. If we don't hurry, this place is a crater.
And this is where we get some info in the Death Stranding universe. For one, those weird monsters from earlier are called BTs. And for another, don't know if you could tell or not, but this game is in the post-apocalypse of sorts. A very surreal version of it for sure. Although the Igor's speech explaining it feels weirdly prophetic and kinda relevant.
Well, the world was different when I was a kid. America is a country. Anybody could go anywhere they damn well pleased. No need for couriers like yourself. We had highways, airplanes. Hell, you could even visit other countries. As you can see, the Death Stranding poked us full of holes. Fucked us beyond all recognition.
So, for some quick context, the Death Stranding was this big apocalyptic event, in which, to quote Igor,
Worlds of the living and the dead all mixed together.
this, of course, caused those BT monsters to come out, and the rain that makes you ugly and die. So, are BTs like ghosts or something? So, as a result, humanity has essentially locked itself away.
And that's when folks started holing up in the cities. Couriers like yourself got put up on a pedestal.
This is a kind of insane because the game came out 1 month before the COVID outbreak. Keep all of that in mind, by the way. Oh, and I can't forget the weirdest part of Death Stranding's universe. Yeah, so in the Death Stranding universe, people plug into their babies in order to see the other side.
Makes me feel like shit every time.
Well, you are plugging into the other side. Freaks me out too.
Before we can ask more questions though, things quickly go wrong.
Son of a bitch. Rainbow!
Oh shit, the scariest thing ever. Rainbows!
I gotta stop pissing off Cheer Bear.
Also, this cutscene is really good, like, understatably good. The whole thing is one big, long, uninterrupted shot. And not only is there a lot of tension in this scene, so the horror of the scene is already immediately really effective, but also, because the game's world building has been insanely and intentionally vague so far, it actually adds an element of what the fuck is happening, and in turn, kind of makes it scarier as a result. Like, you can't tell me you're not engaged watching this thing.
God damn.
Anyway, Sam picks up Igor's dropped bridge baby and sees... kind of hard to summarize this game when I can't even tell what's going on. Man, no wonder this video took so long. My ad revenue's in the shitter. Speaking of which, before I keep going though, a quick word from our sponsor, because this video took me way too long to make. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made to date. And not only is it free to play, but it's available in everything from PC to consoles to mobile devices. In fact, the mobile version for iOS and Android is brand new. So wait a minute, I can pilot over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships all across 10 major nations? That's 100 years of vehicle development to 2,500 vehicles. And I can do it from my phone? Oh, and by the way, the game has some crazy vehicle damage simulation, which it takes into account damage to your engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and crew, for example. That's insane. That's on top of detailed graphics, authentic sound design, and amazing optimization. It's no wonder over 70 million players are playing this thing. You can play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile. And you can sign up right now using my links in the description or pinned comment. In fact, for a limited time, PC and console players can get a big, massive bonus pack. For both new and returning players that haven't played for at least 6 months, I'm throwing in the Eagle of Valor skin, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of free premium, on top of a bunch of other cool stuff. Again, the links are all down below, so yeah, check out War Thunder right now. Right now! So Sam wakes up naked on a gray beach, next to a baby with a black tube for an umbilical cord. Sam then picks him up and he starts crying for whatever reason, only for the baby to then turn to a BT. Also, all around Sam are a bunch of dead sea life, most notably, a lot of whales. This imagery and the game's very title are both references to cetacean stranding, which is when the real-life corpses of aquatic mammals like dolphins and whales strand up on shore, in which furthermore, their bodies can also bloat up and explode, similar to a dead corpses are doing in the Death Stranding universe. And now, with that context given, it's time for the title drop. Yo, who the fuck let this bitch in? Play some NBA Youngboy. So we're not sure what anything is, but Sam then drowns, and I guess he's a repatriate?
Who the fuck is gigging?
Meaning the dude can't really die. Damn, Gary Stu much? Okay, what? Okay, Mads Mikkelsen, alright. So I guess he's that of BB's dad or something? I only assume this because he's all like... Okay, so I'm totally lost. Maybe if Sam vomits black tar, it'll make sense to me. Oh, see, now I'm getting... In front of our reawakened Sam, though, is a giant crater, to which he re-gives his intro speech.
Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion. An explosion that will be our last.
Well, damn, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but color me intrigued. So Sam wakes up in a private room, mysteriously handcuffed to a bed, where he's then greeted by Oscar award-winning director Guillermo del Toro?
Call me Dead Man. I'm well acquainted with the dead.
Yeah, like he said, this is Dead Man.
Don't worry. I'm a doctor.
He's also literally just Guillermo del Toro, like the actor is doing an impression of del Toro's real voice.
Oh, I had him reproduced life size because it seemed like the reasonable thing to do.
Not like you, of course. Contrary to the name, I've never actually died.
Personally, I find this extremely funny, but also endearing, like Kojima just loves his friends, I guess. Anyways, Sam's handcuffs aren't actually handcuffs, but rather the iPhone 6 leaked footage. Anyways, we get the gist of what Bridges is. And TLDR, it's America. Or at least what's left of it anyways. Something Sam himself is clearly apprehensive about.
America's gone.
No. America lives on, Sam.
And currently, America's last president is dying of cancer. So we gotta give her some morphine, which is really just an excuse to see Sam in person.
The truth, Sam, is that America's last president wants to see you in person.
So we head over to the isolation ward to find out why. Thankfully, unlike other things in this game, we find out pretty quickly.
This will help to ease the pain and allow her to speak with you in these final moments.
Her?
The first and last female president of the United States. Surely you remember her. She raised you?
So Sam's mom is the president of what's left of the USA, with Sam himself actually being a former Bridges member.
Oh, you were with Bridges one?
We also meet current Bridges director and former acquaintance of Sam,
Die Hardman?
Character named Die Hardman.
What's it been, Sam? 10 years?
There is a character in this game named Die Hardman?
Where does Hideo Kojima get his ideas?
So Sam walks up to President Bridget Strand.
Yeah, I know you hate me.
So Bridget wants to rebuild America as a country. However, for whatever reason, Sam is very reluctant to do so, and is very pessimistic on the whole idea.
We don't need a country. Not anymore.
We do. Alone, we have no future.
No, America's finished.
Bridget, however, will not take no for an answer.
Bridget, you're the president of jack shit.
Sam, listen to me.
Please.
I love you, Sam. I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Madam President!
So with the president dead and a character named Die Hardman yapping in your ear, Sam reluctantly joins Bridges, with his first order being to cremate the president. Because if we don't, well, we saw what happens to dead bodies earlier in the game. And this cremation has to be secret, while Die Hardman helps us lead the charge in rebuilding America.
What matters is that we're going to finish your mother's work and rebuild America as she intended.
This ideology has a name called American Reconstructionism, which I think is really funny.
President Strand believed in American Reconstructionism. President Bridget Strand was the symbol of American Reconstructionism.
This post was approved by real American Reconstructionists. So anyways, it's cremation time. We gotta deliver this dead body to the incinerator, where along the way, the song of Bones by Low Roar plays. Unfortunately, due to YouTube's copyright, I can't play any more of the soundtrack, which is a real shame as this is a massive part of the game, because Death Stranding was very heavily influenced by the music of Ryan Karazia, better known by his lo-fi indie rock project, Low Roar. As a result, a large majority of the licensed tracklist in Death Stranding is by Low Roar, and it is, in my opinion, foundational to the experience of Death Stranding. You see, Death Stranding paints loneliness in a way that I haven't really seen in any other work. It's of course something I'll explore more in depth later, but part of the experience is hearing Ryan's very raw but ethereal music, and it reflects Sam's lonely disconnect so well, I feel. My personal favorite song from the game by Low Roar is Give Up. I think it's a very pretty yet somber song, about how even in the face of pure emotional numbness, you should never give up on yourself.
I want to pray for a wealthy man someday, 'cause the sun, she don't follow me.
And for those who know what's next in Death Stranding, you know how well the song reflects the game's themes. Sadly, in October of 2022, Ryan Karazia passed away at the age of 40. It was an absolutely deeply tragic loss. He was talented, sure, but more importantly, he was raw and personal. In a way, it makes his already ghost-like songs much more haunting, in a game that's already dealing with themes of death and the afterlife. But his music is, again, personal. It's inviting. It's warm. I'm gonna be honest, I've been having a lot of trouble trouble writing this section. I think Ryan absolutely deserves his flowers. I just can't find the proper words to say it. So in conclusion, not only was he talented in his own right, but Death Stranding legitimately wouldn't be the same without him. So wherever the next life is, I hope Ryan's resting well in it, and knows what his music means to the many people still around to listen to it. I will be returning to the video, but I do also recommend his music. It really is worth it. Without him, the world of Death Stranding would not be the same. Anyway, so Sam arrives at the incinerator. Poor guy has to cremate his own mom, who was the president. God damn. Die Hardman then tells Sam to burn some other cargo. However, turns out the cargo is an old BB unit that Igor was holding. So Sam, naturally, is reluctant to burn a baby. Suddenly, though, the entire area swarmed in BTs. So with no options left, Sam plugs into the baby. Bro got so geeked up he saw Mads Mikkelsen. So with our kind of defective baby, we gotta sneak out of here from the BTs. And man, this atmosphere is crazy. There is a lot of tension and really great sound design here. Hearing your little spinny thing freak out, your baby whimpering, the growls and roars of the BTs. It is uncomfortably stressful and makes the BTs an extreme threat. Although that being said, throughout the game, these moments do overstay their welcome. Especially when late in the game, you get tools that make them a lot easier. And also just the stealth isn't really that great in this game. But TLDR, we make it out and return back to base. Sam then plugs into the baby again and sees Mads Mikkelsen again.
Baby, don't worry. It's okay. I'll always be with you.
Dude, what the fuck is going on?
Trapaholics Mixtape.
So Sam convinces Del Toro to not kill the baby, and that night has a flashback dream, I think. We then wake up and can take a shower in our private room. And yes, it is gratuitous. What did Kojima mean by this?
Dad, can you hear me?
For fuck's sake. Isn't anything private anymore?
Come to the president's office as soon as you're done.
Welp, you heard the boss's orders. So we're in the fake Oval Office with Die Hardman, where we're introduced to the woman in the red dress. This is Amelie, and she is Sam's sister. And for some reason, she's on the beach.
My body's still on the beach.
He's right, you know.
She's also the new president, I guess?
Samantha America Strand, our new president.
Congratulations.
So long Kojima exposition dump short. Die Hardman and Amelie want Sam to set people up to the chiral network. Think of it kind of like the internet, basically. And that way, America will be reconnected and reborn. Also, Amelie is currently in captivity and held up in a place called Edge Knot City. No thanks to a terrorist group called the Homo Demons.
Homo Demons.
Oh, I hope they have Yes King videos in there. So on top of being the Wi-Fi setup guy, Sam also has to save Amelie. Of course, though, Sam being Sam turns it down.
I'm not getting involved with you. Or anyone else ever again.
Of course, though, we know how these things go. First of all, our baby is fixed, thank God. And secondly, Amelie begs Sam in a dream to find her. Her dress also turns blue out of nowhere and she walks off into the fire or something.
Wait.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Boy, if you don't get your dirty bum ass on.
Dirty, bitch, I'm fresh out the shower. You got me fucked up.
Well, I can't tell with that nappy ass shit on your head.
Look, all I got is a $20 bill. I just started this job. Don't rob me. Nigga, I'm not about to rob you. Shit, I can't tell with your shit looking that nappy like that, boy.
So after getting a haircut in Atlanta, Sam joins Bridges.
I don't care about connecting anything or making knots, but I'll do what I have to help Amelie out.
So with that said and done, Sam suits up and is ready for action. He also sees Mads Mikkelsen again.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Baby, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Steady.
Well, that didn't tell me shit, but what I do know is that I finally get to talk about the gameplay of this game. Now, as always, this video is more on the story of Death Stranding than the actual gameplay part, but, you know, I have to talk about it. It's arguably the biggest elephant in the room for this game, and easily the second reason why it's so divisive. In Death Stranding, the gameplay is built around walking, and not a lot of people like this. This is indeed a game where for a good majority of it, you are delivering packages and walking around. That naturally is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. However, I swear to Christ, the way some people describe this game, you would think they're talking about Dear Esther or something.
When you were born, your
Oh
mother
my
told
gosh,
me.
shut up! Those people are wrong though, because Death Stranding actually is a game. You gotta watch the weight you're carrying, you gotta shift your weight around, you gotta craft tools and do resource management, you gotta comfort your stupid ass baby when he starts freaking out and shit. There is a weird amount of depth you are required to engage with, and that's where a lot of the fun comes in. It's not perfect, it's quite janky in fact, but it does do its own thing really well in my opinion. But more importantly, what I do think Death Stranding does really well is painting isolation. The world of Death Stranding is bleak. Very bleak, but also very serene. It's much like loneliness itself. Sometimes it's grueling and torturous. It's hard to climb up that mountain, but it can also be beautiful and introspective. What I'm saying is Kojima made a game where he tells you all to touch grass and you all rejected him. Anyways, we hooked some people up to Wi-Fi. We also learned about the mules who are just kind of like cargo thieves. If they're not important, who gives a shit? Eventually though, Sam's BB stops working for a bit, which thankfully Deadman is able to quickly fix. We learn a bit more about the BBs.
A steel mother's womb facilitates a connection between the world of the dead and the BB. These pods were designed to simulate the conditions inside a still mother's womb.
Oh, damn, that's freaky. And depressingly, they still have to be retired after all this?
No BB on record has remained in service for over a year.
Damn, that's dark as hell, actually. They make half-alive, half-dead baby tools and just dispose of them afterwards? That's a pretty fucked thing to do, my god. Anyway, so Sam goes to bed that night, but is then woken up by Amelie, who pretty much just tells Sam to come and save her again. You know what? Fuck this. Norman, where's the nearest wall at? Thanks, homie. These private rooms are so dumb to fuck around. There's also secret dream sequences you can get, which is really funny.
Some nights I stay.
With that being said, though, the original PS4 and PC ports of Death Stranding include Monster Energy in them.
This is Monster Energy drink.
It's just all piled up in Sam's room, which further deepened his character by allowing him to unleash the beast on camera. While the so-called director's cut includes a 9/11 to Kojima's vision. Anyways, it's video game time. Time to plug into my baby, which by the way, every time you do, it plays a Mads Mikkelsen cutscene.
Isn't what we agreed on. You said you'd do everything in your power to save BB.
This happens every time you go up to the surface. And this actually is a pretty good thing overall. It leaves you wondering who this guy is and what the BB has to do with him, especially with the more intense cutscenes. Other cutscenes are more mundane, but kind of ominously so. Like, very clearly, this dude is unstable.
Fuck, idiot.
Which allows for some really natural red herrings to happen. But of course, I ain't spoiling shit right now.
I put on that bet. Just you and me now, BB.
There's also other cutscenes that are the greatest thing I have ever witnessed.
Merry Christmas.
By the way, it also helps that Mads Mikkelsen is a really great actor. The dude is reading me bedtime stories, and I'm sitting here entertained and enthralled.
I'll show you the real thing soon. I promise. The whole wide world will be yours to explore. You'll be able to go wherever you want. Even the moon.
But, okay, wait, why are we seeing Mads Mikkelsen wearing a fucking Santa hat all the time? Well, they are apparently from the BB.
You're mistaking the BB's memories for your own. They're false flashbacks, nothing more.
So when Sam plugs into the BB, he sees one of the BB's memories, and Mads Mikkelsen seems to be on the BB's mind all the time.
So who's the man I saw?
Someone from the medical team, maybe? Or a BB technician? Does it matter?
So TLDR, we just don't know enough yet. But after making a bunch of deliveries, and yes, I mean a bunch, we eventually gotta travel by boat to the next area. However, we're interrupted by our first real boss fight, where a bunch of BT suddenly drag Sam away, right into the presence of a mysterious man, played by Troy Baker.
The name's Higgs. The particle of God that permeates all existence.
So this is the big bad homo demons guy, right?
Oh, there's so much you people don't know.
Yeah, you're telling me, man.
The girl, for instance. She's not like you or me. She's more into destruction on a worldwide scale. An extinction entity.
What the fuck is you talking about?
Sadly, we won't find out for the next few hours, especially not now as a boss fight ensues, against this giant tar squid creature. And look, mechanically, this boss isn't anything special. You just kind of throw grenades at it for a while, but man, the whole spectacle is just crazy. Again, Death Stranding's atmosphere is absolutely incredible. Oh, forgot to mention, Sam's grenades are made from his bodily fluids. From his blood, which is cool, to his shower water, which is weird.
Note to self, I don't want to live.
To his, pee-pee and poo-poo. And they're called the Number 1 and number 2 grenades. Oh my god.
Where does Hideo Kojima get his ideas?
But anyways, we kill BTS.
Incredible. Simply incredible.
And we're on our way to the large boat we gotta ride. But surprise, Fragile's here, who apparently has a personal history with Higgs.
He's the leader of a separatist group.
Seems like you know a lot about him.
Used to work together. Guess you could say we had a contract.
No matter what though, Sam is still emotionally distant, and he also falls asleep in front of Fragile. Literally, bro is falling asleep in front of these hoes, which is where he sees Amelie again in a dream. A bunch of weird, vague dream stuff then happens. We still don't really know what's going on, so all we know is that indeed, Amelie is taking Sam to the beach.
Come on. I'll take you halfway. And then you can do the rest by yourself.
So crossing to and from the beach is possible, whatever it is. There are a couple hints though we can maybe kind of gloss over.
I had no idea until you told me. No idea that I was alive. Living is no different from being dead if you're all alone.
Damn, that's some profound shit. Wait, so is like the beach the afterlife? Is Amelie dead? I mean, Sam is carrying around this photo everywhere with him, President Bridges, and I guess that's Amelie. There's gotta be some tragic backstory or something. But wait though, Sam's like a young man in that photo, but a kid in these flashback scenes. While Amelie is consistently the exact same age, something isn't really adding up here.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
So we arrive in Lake Knot City, our next location. Time to hook more people up to Wi-Fi.
Cairo Network. Anywhere you go.
Hold up.
Sam, though, wakes up to Fragile just standing over him. Bro, imagine you're trying to sleep and then Lea Sado is just standing over you. Now, for the most part, the scene just introduces fast travel, which Fragile does by literally using the beach. And apparently there are multiple beaches, each one different to each specific person.
I have a beach. You've got yours. I've got mine. Problem is, everyone's got their own way in.
So I guess that's some insight into how these beaches work. Anyways, after this we do more walking, but then turns out Fragile herself is kind of unpopular, as some people we deliver to believe she's working with a terrorist.
Rumors say that she caused the explosion at Middle Knot City, and there's a part of me that believes it.
So supposedly Fragile nuked a whole ass place, I guess.
I got a nuke in my pickup truck.
We actually briefly go to this place, by the way, and yeah, it's totally fucked, being one big crater that's swarming with BTs. So if Fragile really is secretly working for Troy Baker, she has some explaining to do. And thankfully, an explanation is right around the corner, and eventually Sam wakes up to Fragile in his shower.
This shit is unnecessary. This was unnecessary.
Sorry, didn't mean to startle you.
Well, I'm glad Lea Sado is comfortable in my shower, at least.
Let me scan you for my Hideo game.
So Sam inquires about the rumors, and immediately Lea Sado gets angry at us.
She's in bed with terrorists. Don't trust her. She's just another dumbass Higgs fucked over. Tell me, Sam, what does America mean to you?
So long story short, under the guise of connecting America, Higgs manipulated Fragile into a partnership so he could deliver guns and bombs right under her nose. This includes that giant nuke we had to travel through the remains of earlier. And we know Fragile isn't lying because the music swells up when she says it.
Tell me then.
Yeah. It was me. I blew it up.
I have a ton of gay porn, actually. He knows. I'm a major yaoi freak.
So there you have it. Everything's true. Except for all the lies.
Hey, I've heard YouTubers say that before. Anyways, there's a lot more gameplay we gotta do and a lot more game we gotta play. But then we get an order from the junk dealer. And in contrast to the greens and grays we've been seeing all over the place, this guy lives up in this orange rusty area. Already a really big visual contrast. The contrast continues though when we actually deliver to him. Now up until this point, everybody we've talked to has been this hologram. It kind of creates, in my opinion, yet another problem with the game, where the people you deliver to aren't engaging whatsoever. Hence why I've been skipping over pretty much every one of them. However, when we get to the junk dealer, something different happens. We see this hologram of a woman playing with an hourglass. It's a little unnerving and certainly catches you off guard, especially when every other NPC is again some static dude just talking to you. Speaking of which, we get the junk dealer.
Long time gone, my girl. All because of some terrorist nut jobs.
Holy shit! It's Spider-Man!
So this guy's mad at both Bridges and Fragile Express, as he believes he lost his wife in the nuke. However, turns out she might not actually be dead. So we do a few deliveries and tell the guy. And in response, he gives us a chiral hourglass. So that way, he knows we're not bullshitting. By the way, I forgot to mention what a chiralium was. It's just kind of like a new element that was found and comes from the beach. And it's literally just nanomachines again. So we then make the delivery, and we're greeted by an older woman who is in total disbelief at the hourglass.
Oh my lord. I never thought I'd see this again.
And then suddenly the doors open, and out of it emerges the woman from the hologram, who furthermore also thought her husband was dead because her mom was lying about it. So now we gotta deliver her back to the junk dealer, where she tells him that instead of peddling junk, he needs to pick up the pieces and make the most of them. She then proposes to him, and the two live happily ever after. Now, I want to praise this whole thing a lot more, because there are things to like about this whole dynamic. I love the whole junk symbolism. I love how these two are a microcosm of human connection. I like how it's disconnected from the rest of the story, aside from, of course, thematically, showing just regular people in the context of the shadow of the Death Stranding. But not only is this whole thing kinda too short for its own good, but the actress they got for the junk dealer's wife,
Please. I have to see him again.
she's, you know, something tells me English wasn't her first language.
When the terrorists attacked, my mother and I barely escaped with our lives.
Close enough. Welcome back, Mega Man 8.
We'll find Dr. Wow.
I'm sorry, the performance is just, it's terrible.
The man I knew. They don't peddle junk. I'm asking you to marry me, dummy.
No.
Look, in all fairness, Kojima himself isn't a native English speaker.
Did you like it?
So I'd imagine it would be pretty hard to direct an English-speaking game when you don't speak the language that well. So why nobody who spoke English, caught this is beyond me. Anyway, so next delivery time. We're given a mysterious package by, I wonder who this guy could be.
It says here the client is Fragile herself.
Hey guys, it's me, not Troy Baker. So we go down to this private room here because that's what my walkthrough told me to do. And turns out, according to Fragile, it's a nuke the entire time. By the way, it's really funny how nobody recognized Higgs at all. This guy just walked in with a briefcase-sized nuclear bomb and just didn't elaborate. Anyway, so we take that bitch to a big-ass tar pit and throw that bitch into the ocean. With all that now out of the way, Sam has a conversation with Fragile, who reveals that Higgs is indeed a bad guy, who essentially tortured Fragile by making her run out near naked in Timefall when he made her plant the big giant nuke. He also licks her face. Thank you, Kojima. But while this scene is very overdramatic in that classic Kojima way, it still doesn't give any actual depth to Higgs at all. The scene is mostly here to establish, yeah, Higgs is a bad guy. And sadly, that's all he really is throughout the game. There is not a lot to Higgs as a character. And in my opinion, he's one of the weakest parts of the game. I do think he's at least a kind of entertaining in the same way that Volgin was in Metal Gear Solid 3, but where Volgin fits as a Bond villain in a game that takes heavy influence from James Bond, Higgs kind of feels like a Marvel villain in an A24 movie. So Sam and Fragile finish their conversation, and long story short, we finish our deliveries and go back outside. But then, all of a sudden, the weather picks up, a giant tornado emerges, and Sam seemingly is carried upwards into it. The camera then fades into World War I trenches flooded with tar, where skeleton soldiers are reined in by... Okay, dude, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, okay, yeah, makes sense to me. Okay, you know what? This kind of does actually go crazy hard, though. All right, so good news and bad news. I do genuinely think Mads Mikkelsen's character is, by the end of the game, a pretty great villain. Sadly, though, I can't tell you because you don't know why yet. Speaking of which, Sam wakes up in World War I, or like some kind of twisted nightmare ghostly version of it. One covered with black tar and dead whales. And the atmosphere in this part is just... oh my god. It's loud, chaotic, stressful, and one of the best parts of the game. We then actually head into the trenches, and out emerges Mads Mikkelsen, who is just kind of aura farming. I love the part where he just starts smoking a cigarette, and thus commences the actual boss fight, where all the while we hear Mads' voice saying a BB and remember. The only issue is that the boss itself really isn't that good. Again, atmospherically, it's almost perfect, but gameplay-wise, you're kind of just wandering around looking for Mads Mikkelsen, and when you do, you're just shooting him and his skeleton army a bunch of times. But anyways, we beat Mads Mikkelsen, who for some reason stands up and hugs us, and we get a flashback of him running with a BB. Again, lots of unanswered questions here. Sam then wakes up back in the real world where no time has passed at all, and we get a call from a woman named Mama. Now, this character you do actually kind of meet beforehand, as she is our equipment specialist, but now we're meeting face to face and getting properly acquainted. So Sam walks into Mama's lab, but uh-oh, a BT is inside the building. But turns out it's friendly, apparently.
Don't worry, Sam. She doesn't bite. Glad you made it.
So yeah, we're finally introduced to Mama, whose name is Mama because she has a daughter who's a BT, connected via a ghost umbilical cord. Damn.
What in the fuck?
What is she?
She's my daughter. And I'm her mama.
I do actually like Mama's backstory, though. You see, in it, Mama was in the hospital expecting. However, the hospital was then attacked by terrorists, leaving Mama trapped for multiple days, forced to give birth by herself under all this rubble. However, as a result, she gave birth to a BT, so Mama's kind of both alive and dead. It's a little weird. And now her child lives on, kinda, as a BT. I mean, it's not alive, it's like a ghost, but you know what I mean. And I like this for a couple of reasons. For one, its statement on connection, first of all. Primarily a maternal one. You see, obviously miscarriages and stillborns are traumatic, but it surprised me just how traumatic they are, as research has shown us that 1 in 3 women develop PTSD as a result. But also worth noting that when a mother does give birth, in order for the brain to connect itself with her own child, the brain will produce a lot of dopamine. Neurologically, the brain is attaching itself to the child. That's what happens. Ladies, your brains be crazy. Now, I'm no scientist, nor am I a woman either, to be honest, but making a more artistic guess, I feel like that's why PTSD happens within miscarriages. The brain is trying to connect itself to something that is dead on arrival, and that can lead to unbearable mental pain right after a physical one. I think the idea of Mama caring for a literal dead child who is like a ghost is kind of a powerful one. I think women who have gone through miscarriages could identify with this person, and I think that's pretty fucking sweet. This backstory also confirms a few things. Primarily, the BTs are indeed ghosts, and what a powerful way to confirm it, right? So I guess that means the beaches are the afterlife? Okay, slowly we're piecing it together. I see what the game's doing now. But first we gotta do a bunch of deliveries. One of them concerning a girl named Lochna, who TLDR can upgrade our equipment. And we kinda need to because ours is faulty and could cause
another death stranding.
Damn, it's gonna pile it on me like that? However, Lochna, who sounds exactly like Mama, because turns out they're twins.
Lochna is Mama's twin sister.
Apparently really fucking hates bridges, and immediately refuses to work with us.
That voice, is that you, Mama?
I'm not yours, and yours is no kind of mother.
These people should shut the fuck up, back the fuck off.
Well, guess we'll head back to Mama then, and figure out what exactly is going on here. And yeah, there is a lot more context going on. So Mama gives us special handcuffs to cut the BTs down with, but then instructs Sam to cut the connection between her and her daughter.
Please, Sam. Set us free. This world was never hers, but all the same, I didn't want her to leave it.
But then, turns out...
Truth is, she's not really my daughter.
Yeah, of course, there's an extra twist going on here. So it turns out the child is actually Lochna's. And I guess Mama and Lochna had a weird thing where they could feel each other's emotions. Look, again, just, like, go with it, okay? However, both of them could not produce children.
My ovaries can't produce eggs, and Lochna has trouble with her uterus.
This caused a problem for Lochna as she really wanted to have a child. On top of that, she also fell in love with someone who tragically died, so, yeah, needless to say, these two did not have it easy. Thankfully, though, Mama was willing to be a surrogate.
We took one of Lochna's eggs and fertilized it with his frozen sperm, and I carried it to term.
But then, of course, the attack happened, and here we are now, severing the bond between Mama and Lochna. However, Mama might be the only way to convince Lochna to join Bridges. But to do that, we gotta cut the cord between Mama and her child.
You have to break some ties to forge others. Can't be tied to everything. If we're going to reconnect the world, I need to reconnect with my sister first. Alright, Sam. Take me home to Lochna.
Again, a lot of this is very deeply tragic, but I really do love a lot of this. So anyways, we gotta transport Mama over to Lochna. And while we're...
I had a special surprise prepped and everything.
This asshole's here. Look, you get the idea, you fight a big guy, and that's it. And now it's back to traveling.
Hey, Sam. Do you remember your own birth? I remember being inside the womb.
Good for you, man. So we deliver Mama to Lochna, and the two of them end up reconciling.
Lincoln, no. I love you so much. I couldn't save our child, but you can save our world. Only you. I love you. You hear me? Forever. And always.
So yeah, Mama sadly dies, but thankfully she reconciled with Lochna. So now we can hook her back up to the chiral network. Lochna also briefly explains that
her Ka passed over to the other side, but her Ha remained, bound to our dead daughter.
Oh, great. So, Ha and Ka are terms from Egyptian mythology. And long story short, Ha means body and Ka means soul. On that note, for a bunch of reasons I don't think I quite understand, Mama's soul enters Lochna's body. You can tell because one of Lochna's eyes are blue like Mama's, and she says,
Sis? I can hear you. We're whole again. We're one. Like before in the womb, remember?
It's a bit weird, but overall, I do still love this arc. But of course, we now gotta move on further in the story. So, Die Hardman and gang have been looking into the whole beach thing we were on with Mads Mikkelsen, which, yes, indeed, it was a beach. However, the fact that the beach we went to with Mads is World War I? Yeah, what's up with that? And not even Die Hardman or the crew really know.
That said, I've never heard of a beach turned into a battlefield. But beaches are shaped by the will of the people who inhabit them.
We also get Del Toro Man explaining bridge babies a bit better, as Sam wakes up the next day to his bridge baby missing, who, by the way, he's suddenly been calling Lou in both a gameplay and cutscenes.
Lou? Lou? Looking for this?
So again, Del Toro explains that, indeed, bridge babies consciously exist between life and death. This, however, creates a problem and why Del Toro is here in the first place, as Sam's been getting too connected to his BB.
They belong precisely in between, with no greater affinity for one world or the other. But BB-28 here has been leaning further and further towards the world of the living. Towards you, Sam.
This is a problem for a tool that's not supposed to be actually human, as it might end up breaking the BB unit, or in this case, Lou. So to prevent that, Deadman's gonna reset the BB unit. Except that means Lou will forget all about us.
One catch, though. The surgery may erase its memories.
Erase? Lou forget me?
Sam naturally is very reluctant, and so is the BB because it pisses on Del Toro. So Deadman then invites Sam into the shower? Bro, what did Kojima mean by this one?
I've been doing some digging into the first BB experiments. Officially, they were suspended by the government, following a void out which claimed the life of the then acting president. Documents were shredded. BB technology banned, yes? But obviously, the experiments continued in secret, on the direct orders of President Strand.
Bridget?
So yeah, Sam's mom was doing illegal baby experiments. For what reason all of this is happening, we still have no idea. Only that Die Hardman might not be trustworthy.
What's Die Hardman's part in this?
I'm afraid to find out. I don't know how long he was working for Strand. I don't even know his real name, or his face.
But Hardman plans on figuring it out in secret. However, he's still gonna take Lou from us, so we gotta spend the next hour of the game without our BB, which makes for a less annoying experience, sure, but BTs are now a bitch to deal with, and the game is a lot more lonelier now.
I miss him.
Anyways, Deadman finishes the BB procedure and tells Sam to pick him up at a cabin somewhere. So we head on over, but then the weather picks up, which of course now means only one thing. We follow Deadman on a new beach, and it's really not hard to figure out what this one is, although I really don't remember squid tanks during World War II. Anyway, so Deadman is holding Lou and protecting him. However, he stares down a large, dark sewer tunnel. And from the darkness, World War II skeleton soldiers emerge. And right behind them is Mads Mikkelsen. The atmosphere is just so oppressive. It works so well. Really sells you on how haunting and intimidating this all is. Sam wakes up in the middle of World War II era urban warfare, but this time again with dead sea life everywhere. And like the World War I section, the atmosphere here is just fantastic again. Good fucking lord, man.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
We then call Deadman, who's naturally kind of freaking out, but good news, he's able to give us our BB back. He also reveals how lonely he is.
It's not easy being me. No wife, no children, no friends.
You know what, man? Type shit.
And so I sought solace, sought company in the dead. But meeting you has opened my eyes. You're very special, Sam.
Well, damn, thank you. We'll put a pin on that for a few minutes. We then head into the sewers and meet up with Deadman, who gives us back our BB unit.
Maybe this is a special beach for soldiers who died in battle.
Maybe we should get the hell out of here.
He's right, you know.
There is one last thing Deadman says to us, though.
You know, Sam, I'm starting to understand why BB is so important to you.
Huh?
It's just a tool. Life and death are supposed to be irrelevant. But we've got attached to each other all the same, haven't we?
Damn, that's real shit. We then get Mads Mikkelsen aura maxing again. This is the hardest shit I've ever seen. Put a funk remix on this. So we beat Mads, who apparently still wants our BB.
Amy, this is all my fault. I should never have put you in that prison.
He then seemingly tries to choke us out, but then Sam grabs his dog tag and Mads hugs him again. Well, but that certainly didn't make things any more clear. Sam then gets jump scared and wakes up in his own bed again, and thankfully Del Toro nurses us back to health.
Well, look at that. That child's taking a shine to me.
This, however, is when Deadman reveals more about Sam, and we get context as to why Sam is so emotionally distant from people.
Sam, I owe you an apology. Lou was the name you were going to give your own baby if he'd had made it. I should have pieced it together sooner.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I found some records from 10 years ago.
So, a long time ago, when Sam was part of Bridges 1, his pregnant wife was killed in the Void Out, and false rumors spread that Sam did it. However, the grief-induced guilt caused Sam to leave, all but cutting off Bridges entirely.
They were going to name their son Lou.
Didn't happen.
Understandably, Sam begins lashing out.
President Strand told me. She talked about you all the time. He didn't have to cut all ties and walk away, she said.
You wanna shut the fuck up?
This is when we learn more about Deadman himself, and his story is deeply fascinating to me.
The truth is, I'm Frankenstein's monster. Artificial. Grown from pluripotent stem cells.
So Deadman isn't a quote-unquote real human being. He was artificially born through in vitro fertilization, and was essentially built together with body parts of dead donors. As a result, he literally has no soul, and as a result, he has no beach, no afterlife.
I never had a birthday. I'm a soulless meat puppet. No car. A dead man.
As a result, Deadman became obsessed with researching beaches, which is the reason why he joined Bridges.
People born the traditional way have beaches, but I have no such connections. No mother, no afterlife, no beach. You see now why I'm so obsessed with it all?
However, even so, on the World War II beach, he felt a deep connection to Sam, which he normally would never feel.
The battlefield. Now that was an awful beach. But strangely, I didn't hate it, because I knew you were coming for me. I've never felt that before. Connected to someone, anyone.
And this exchange, I feel, is deeply interesting. Because despite not having a beach, Deadman proves himself wrong. He connects with Sam Porter Bridges. And therefore, he is human. No matter how hard you try, a human connection is an inevitability. But there are fears surrounding it. What if your relationship doesn't last? What if your loved ones die? What if we get hurt again? The fears are real, but the lack of embrace shouldn't be. Even if you don't think you are deserving of love and hope. The tricky part is embracing them in the first place.
You didn't have to cut all ties and walk away. The president was right about that much.
Wasn't anything to walk away from. It's not like I was ever welcome there.
Come on, even I was welcome.
But anyways, moving forward, we finally figure out who Mads Mikkelsen is.
Clifford Unger, as you can see.
Sadly, though, it isn't much, aside from him being a U.S. Army Green Beret. But at least he's got a name now, Clifford Unger. We then take a shower and learn more about the beaches, where a character named Hartman explains that, yes, indeed,
these beaches are given form inside our brains by our beliefs, religion, philosophy, and so forth.
So we got confirmation on that at least. However, in the case of Cliff's beaches,
if many people die at once, their beaches can become entangled, creating a strand field.
This, of course, explains the skeleton soldiers, as they're war soldiers who died in combat, forced to relive said combat over and over again. Just one problem, though, as Hartman explains.
Which is strange, given that the man you encountered, Clifford Unger, played no part in that conflict.
Which is deeply concerning. Well, above all else, at least our BB is okay, I suppose. Maybe the Mads flashback cutscenes will tell us something.
Can I help you? Holy shit. John, is that you?
So, bad news is still pretty vague. All we get is Cliff Unger meeting with a man named John.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were hurt.
So anyways, we find out Mama's body is not decomposing at all. So to figure out why, we gotta deliver her corpse to a man named Hartman. Like other characters, we've seen and heard this guy through holograms and shit, but now we're actually getting acquainted with him. Now this dude's located in this heart-shaped area here, and probably the nicest house in the whole game. This guy must be a baller. So we head inside and a timer begins. Wonder what that's for. And bro's crib is full of BT sculptures and a bunch of cushions all over the place. We hear a record player playing Chopin's Funeral March, and we see Hartman lying down unconscious, with a family photo on a nearby desk. Then, as the timer ends, Sam investigates and Hartman wakes up.
Administering shock. Stand clear.
Well, you certainly caught me with my pants down.
As mentioned, this is Hartman, modeled after Nicholas Winding Refn, the director of Drive. Yeah, he and Kojima have a very close friendship and it's very adorable. This guy's whole thing is that every 21 minutes he goes into cardiac arrest.
You know your heart stops beating.
It stops every 21 minutes. I spend 3 minutes on the beach, and then return. 60 deaths and 60 resurrections per day.
And the reason he does this is so existentially fascinating. So this guy's family was caught in a void out, all while this dude was having heart surgery, naturally, causing him to wake up on the beach around a bunch of other people, 2 of them being Hartman's wife and daughter.
I saw my wife and my daughter in the procession. Hey, it's me!
However, before he could reunite with them, Hartman was resuscitated.
No! Don't go! Please, don't go! The ICU's backup generator kicked in, and I was brought back to life by the defibrillator.
So Hartman's main motivation is to find his family, and when he does, die with them. All because the idea of dying alone without them is terrifying to him.
It is said that everyone's beach is different. So what if everyone's afterlife is different too? I find the thought terrifying, spending eternity alone, which is why I decided to find my family and make sure to move on with them.
You mean die with them?
He's a character who's both fun, but also philosophically interesting. Again, he's one of my favorites in the whole game. He then tells Sam about extinction entities and mass extinctions. So throughout history, there have been 5 big mass extinction events. But it's implied that these extinction events could have been linked to, or in fact could have been themselves, Death Stranding. So therefore, the game's Death Stranding is the 6th extinction event. Okay, makes sense, I get that. But then all 5 of these are caused by a singular being called an extinction entity, like the dinosaur, the woolly mammoth, and the Iceman, for example. And due to a lot of exposition, Hardman theorizes that President Strand was one, and by extension, so is Amelie. And I'm just sitting here not really getting any of it, so point is we can now rescue Amelie. We just gotta cross this massive tar belt here. So we get intentionally caught by BTs and use the buildings they formed across.
Can't say I would have ever thought of that.
And hey, look, it's Amelie at the end here. Sam then drowns and wakes up on the beach. And Amelie's right here with us. Also, kind of funny how Sam is afraid of being touched, but being a butt-ass naked does not faze him at all. Sam then drowns again and wakes up next to Higgs. Oh no! He talks about how evil he is, then licks Sam's face for some reason. And then he fucks off for a minute. We then hook the final place up to Wi-Fi, connecting America. Hooray!
We've done it, Sam. The chiral network now spans the entire continent. Our nation is whole again, reborn as the United Cities of America.
We also get another Amelie cutscene where she confirms that she is indeed an extinction entity, whatever the fuck that is.
Did I ever tell you my real name? It's Amerigo. After Amerigo Vespucci, the man who discovered the continent.
I thought it was Columbus.
Sam, you're a fucking idiot. You then walk outside and see a giant tar monster man. And of course, Troy Baker is behind it all. And can also mind control Amelie with his gold mask, I guess.
What the fuck?
We've had 5 mass extinctions, each caused by an extinction entity. And now it's time for number 6.
Yo, Troy Baker, what Star Wars movie, what episode is Return of the Jedi?
Number 6.
So we fight the big boss. Wow, can't come inside my ass. But Higgs then escapes to the beach.
I'll see you on the beach for the grand finale.
This forces Sam to run back to Fragile, who can thankfully help us jump to the beach, allowing the two to share a moment together.
I can send us both at once, but I'll be right behind you.
I thought you said you couldn't go to her.
I can't. But I can go to you. Close your eyes. You love her, right? You love her. There it is.
We find Higgs and encounter him. He gives a big, long end of the world speech and stuff, and all this yap leads to his boss fight.
No bullshit.
The boss then ends with, I shit you not, a Punch-Out styled fisticuff sequence, which is obviously just Kojima trying to do Metal Gear Solid 4's end fight again. It's fine, I guess, but not nearly as memorable or emotional. Fragile then comes in and punches Higgs, and that's about it.
Honey, you ain't nothing but damaged goods.
You are damaged goods.
Sam and Amelie then talk for a bit. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I love Kojima, but...
Great. So I'm Mario and you're Princess Peach.
Yeah. Like Mario and Princess Peach.
This shit is indefensible. The two of them then run on the beach in the goofiest looking way possible.
Yo, bro, who got you smiling like that?
However, the two then approach a cliff, and I guess mysteriously Amelie just disappears over it, and instead we see Die Hardman pointing a gun at Bridget Strand.
You were supposed to make the world whole, not fuck it all up.
However, when Die Hardman shoots her, nothing happens. That's when, out of the water, Mads Mikkelsen emerges. And not only is it further established that these two know each other, but Die Hardman might have also done something very wrong.
Is that really you?
Yes. It's me. John, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Cliff then draws his attention to Bridget, and he demands for his BB.
Give me back my BB.
You're looking in the wrong place.
She then points directly at us. Fuck.
BB!
Yeah, we gotta get the hell out of here now. Thankfully, Amelie jump scares us and throws us off a cliff, allowing Sam to repatriate back into the real world. Deadman then jumps in and believes that Cliff is the real mastermind, holding both Amelie and Dia Hardman captive. Sam, however, is still apprehensive against America.
I've done my part, fuck America.
I agree, Sam. The whole gang then begs Sam to help out. However, because the beaches are currently unsafe to travel to, we gotta travel all the way back to the other side of America. What in the Metal Gear Solid 1 backtracking is this? We do get a few more reveals though, like President Strand's involvement with the BB experiments, all while wearing the Dia Hardman mask. Meanwhile, Sam encounters the one final storm, where Cliff definitely will be. We also get one more Mads Mikkelsen flashback, where he discusses being a father before John kills him.
I gave you an order. Shoot him.
We fade into the next Cliff boss fight, and I want you to take a wild guess where it is. Bro, where am I? What are we doing here? Okay, well, actually, we do know where we are. We're in fucking Vietnam, complete with Apocalypse Now imagery and everything. So we fight Mads and his Skeletong army, I guess? Yeah, this is very uncomfortable. So we defeat Mads Mikkelsen and talk to him, in the hopes that maybe we'll find out what's going on here.
Are you Clifford Unger?
Who are you?
Are you the father?
They told me your name was Sam Porter. But you were Sam Bridges. My bridge to the future.
So, Cliff then hugs Sam, and his clothes change into that suit from the flashback. And then Sam flashes into another flashback again. Once again between Dia Hardman, John, and Cliff Unger, Mads Mikkelsen. Where John allows Cliff to run away with the BB. So again, the plot is thickening.
You saved my life, sir. Again and again.
Sam then wakes up and tells Deadman about Cliff Unger, because the dude wasn't actually evil, he was just like a ghost and shit.
It didn't feel like he was trying to hurt us. It felt like he just wanted to talk.
He just sent you to Vietnam. And turns out Amelie's the real villain. She gave Higgs his doom powers and stuff. And she also might not be Bridget's daughter. So Dia Hardman in a pre-recorded message is going to kill her. So we and Norman Reedus have to fight a giant whale and travel all the way back east. And with the help of all our friends, we gotta go to Amelie's beach and stop her. But not before Sam gives one last motivational speech.
Maybe she'll listen. But with the shape the world's in, it'll only be delaying the inevitable. Still, if it buys us time to try and build something better, a new lease on life, at least for a little bit, well, I can think of one woman who made the most of a chance like that.
And this ending speech, I think, is really, really great. Sam is obviously an emotionally distant character in a nihilistic and bleak, death-filled world. And yet, as we've seen throughout the game, humanity is still going. Love, intimacy, and connections all still exist in this apocalypse. And through the bonds he forms with other people, Sam finally regains hope. It's really nice to see. The game hit home for me personally when I played it on that end. I was in a very deep, lonely spot where I was afraid to make new friends. So having a game remind me of the importance of actually bonding with people felt cathartic, and it made me personally more self-reflective on the path I was leading down.
I was living a lie, hung up on past regrets. I was broken. But somewhere along the way, I started changing. Started meeting people that made me think that maybe it wasn't all bad. People that put their faith in tomorrow, and in me. That kept the lights on, and waited for hope to arrive.
Anyway, so of course it's time to go to the beach and figure out what Amelie's up to once and for all.
There.
Sadly though, things get a whole lot more convoluted from here on out. So Amelie comes out, and turns out she is also Bridget Strand at the same time.
Where's Amelie?
Where she's always been? Nowhere. Amelie and Bridget are both a part of me.
Yeah, it turns out, Bridget and Amelie are the same exact person. Oh, and you know Sam's, the family Polaroid? The one that got damaged by timefall? Yeah, that girl with the blurry face is actually Sam's wife. You know, the one who died, which is actually a very cool twist. What isn't quite as cool is this whole extinction entity thing.
What I am is an extinction entity. In a flash, this world will be no more. Consumed by an explosion. A big bang.
She then explains that no matter what happens, mankind will go through the sixth extinction. It's merely an inevitability. So Sam has two choices. Either watch her blow up the entire world, or prevent the whole thing by hugging Amelie, which he does.
I'm here for you. Always. Like you were for me.
I feel this part of the game is more confusing than anything, and not in a fun way. It's still a pretty vague thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense by the end of it, and it doesn't actually give Amelie a good motive whatsoever. She's just kind of vaguely playing God, and it's a little lame, actually. I don't know, maybe it's not my thing. When the game is more Evangelion existentialist, it's kind of unclear at points. But when the game is this deeply personal and intimate anti-nihilist exploration, how the end of the world isn't the end of the world, that's when the game really shines through. I love the exploring human connection stuff. It's very nice. I love that. The extinction entity stuff feels more like a fluff to the story, but the actual intimate stuff is, again, great. It's why I still love Death Stranding, even though there are clear shortcomings.
Even if we aren't together, we will always be connected. Goodbye, Sam.
Sam then reawakens back up on the beach. He's also blue, and we the player can walk around while the credits roll until Sam intermittently sits down and Amelie lore dumps on us.
In my dreams, I watched the world end so many times.
So to try and summarize this, Bridget caught cancer, but then her body and her soul kind of separated somehow. And that's the meaning behind the two dresses. The red dress is like Bridget, and the blue one is like the soul, Amelie, I guess. I think this whole sequence just lost me when it does shit like this.
Look. Amelie. Is French for soul. A soul that's a lie.
Bro, come on! Sam then walks around and puts a gun to his head, then doesn't, then gets resuscitated, I guess.
For too long have we lived as strangers to one another, divided by walls built to keep us safe.
We cut to now President Die Hardman, who establishes the birth of the UCA.
Today we come together to celebrate the birth of a new nation. A new nation for a new world. The United Cities of America.
He then removes his mask and reveals... Oh my god, he's black! Sam is also here. Hi, Sam. Sam then quietly walks out mid Die Hardman speech, but is then encountered by Deadman.
There's something I need to tell you. Huh. This doesn't bother you anymore? Well, that's great. Oh, Sam. You have no idea how long I've been waiting to give you a hug. Got something else to tell you. Top secret. It's about Cliff.
So Deadman reveals that, you know the woman in the pod in the Mads Mikkelsen flashbacks? Yeah, that's Sam's mom.
BB's mother's name was Lisa Bridges.
Lisa Bridges.
After finding this out, Sam discovers that Die Hardman killed Cliff, with all records of the dude's history nearly wiped.
Turned out some people die harder than others, though.
Speak of the devil, though, as Deadman sees Die Hardman walking down the hallway.
I don't trust him, but I'll work with him if that's what it takes.
Die Hardman then approaches Sam with the truth.
Sam, I don't expect you to forgive me. But would you hear me out? I killed Captain Clifford Unger.
So Die Hardman reveals the truth, or most of it anyways. The truth was that Die Hardman loved Bridget Strand and was loyal to her. However, he also loved and admired and felt close to Cliff. So killing him gave him a lot of guilt since then. What's more important to me though is that Tommy Earl Jenkins' performance in this scene is spectacular. Like, my words can't do it justice, so I'ma just let it play out. It is amazing.
He brought my sorry ass back home every time. And I loved him as much as I loved her. And when he stared me down, that ghost, I knew he was here to kill me, to make it right. And why shouldn't he? I guess when he saw I was trying to do my part for America, he remembered who he was. And he forgave me. God! But I don't deserve it, God damn it!
However, Die Hardman also believes that being strong as a president, giving up the illusion of immortality is what's important to him right now.
He wanted me to do this. To keep on being Die Hardman.
No, he didn't. Nobody wants a president who acts like they're immortal. And if you're not scared of death, how can you value life? And life is pretty fucking fragile right now.
God damn, that's timely in the current political climate.
And yeah, the old ways die hard. But that's what's gonna have to happen if we're gonna come together and build a better America.
Sam then goes up for one final delivery, and it's a sad one. Lou, Sam's BB, is unconscious, presumably dead in the pod, and Sam therefore is required to incinerate the BB. But before he heads out, he gives Dead Man one last hug.
Thanks for everything.
Sam then goes outside and meets up with Fragile one last time until the next game, where even though this dude has connected with other people, he's still afraid of the grief of losing them. Also, his baby might be dead, and that might have something to do with it.
The world's still broken. The same as before.
What isn't? But we're still here. We're still chugging along. You've learned how to touch, to feel. You've connected with people. With us.
Everything I touch, I lose.
Thankfully, though, this is not the end, as we naturally have one last delivery to make.
Come on, Lou. One last delivery.
We then head to the incinerator, all while the song of BB's theme plays. This song is great, by the way, and is effectively the snake eater of the game. I would analyze it, but I'm short on time, so just take a listen yourself. So here we are, the incinerator. Sam, for shits and giggles, plugs into Lou one last time.
Thanks for everything.
This is where the game's final reveals lie, where we see what really happened between Cliff Unger and that BB who's his son. For one thing, it turns out Die Hardman does not give himself enough credit, as this man who had lots of love and admiration for Cliff Unger helped him escape with his son by temporarily disabling the security system, even if his loyalties are understandably very conflicted.
Take BB and get out of this place. Now, if she orders me to do something, I have to do it. I have to. But I served under you first. And your family doesn't deserve this.
Why are you helping me? If they catch you.
Because you saved my life, sir. again and again.
So here's the plan. First of all, Lisa Bridges. She's brain dead. However, John here can't just shut off her life support at all. So Cliff has to shoot her to put her out of her misery. Second, bro only has 5 minutes to get out of this facility here with BB. But as he does, the alarms go off. And Daya Hardman really does his damnedest to try and distract the other guards, including an impromptu hostage situation, only for Cliff to end up at a dead end, with Sam in a ghost-like fashion forced to watch it all. And if it hasn't dawned on you already, then it's time to reveal it. Sam is Cliff's son. The flashback we were seeing weren't Lou's flashbacks, they were Sam's from when he was a BB. However, under the orders of President Bridges, Daya Hardman is forced to kill not only Cliff, but a baby Sam. And that's how Sam is reborn on the beach and eventually becomes a repatriate. It really reshapes Daya Hardman's confession and everything. From the president's right-hand killer with a guilty conscience, to a deeply honorable victim who tried to save a father and his son, but the odds were stacked against him. But at least Cliff and Sam have one more kind of metaphysical, like, conversation thingy, and at long last, the two get some proper closure. Cut back to the incinerator room with the pod broken open. Sam holds Lou in his hands, trying to wake him up. Oh, by the way, I've been misgendering Lou for dramatic effect, because in the post-credits scene, it's revealed that Lou is a girl the entire time.
Louise.
God damn, that's adorable, man. So thus ends Death Stranding with Lou in Sam's arms. And the two walk outside. The Death Stranding is over and the rain is no longer timefall infested. With Lou in Sam's arms, they stare at the sunrise together. It's a very incredible ending for this game, and ultimately the reason I think people should see this game through. I love Death Stranding, but it is very inconsistent. There are some really bad pacing issues throughout this thing. Not every plot idea really works, and I really can't defend
Mario and Princess.
But with that said, despite my gripes, I love Death Stranding. Because when the game comes together and it reaches those high moments, they are incredibly high. With everything slowly unraveled and given to you small bit by small bit, the way the game explores loneliness and human connection, it really is unlike anything I've ever really played before. And me being lonely really helped my enjoyment of the game too, honestly. It kind of felt cathartic to me at the time. And the game helped convince me to go outside and really appreciate the bonds that I was making. Death Stranding is not a game for everyone, but it is absolutely a game for me, even if I don't always understand it. And to all the other lonely people in the universe, maybe it'll be a game for you too. Oh yeah, before I cut to black, again, a big thanks to War Thunder. These guys sponsored the video and are the GOATs. The game is free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. If you're new or returning, get that free exclusive bonus package. All that is in the pinned comment and the description. Again, a big thanks to War Thunder. Go out and play it, boys.
Fuck you in the lane you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch, nah. Throw that shit in fifth, rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star, I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds, I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Ay, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn. Hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn. Hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Hey, I'm with a dark-skinned girl on a Sunday. That's that Black Sabbath. She put them ones all down on a Hyundai, and she had to have it. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.
Amelie. Is French for soul. A soul that's a lie.
That would all. Can I see you as my crush?
Like Mario and Princess Beach.
I will not judge.
Princess Beach.
Teddy for I don't want love.
No one can spy on us in here.
See me in those. Cameo, you fly around like doves. Sit on my door. She don't like me cause I'm a door.
Great. So I'm Mario and you're Princess Peach.
Yeah. Like Mario and Princess.
Dear Esther, I have been here for over an hour now and I still ponder to myself, does anything peculiar or exciting happen in this dog shit game?
So I'm Mario and you're Princess Peach.
2,711. 2,700.
Hideo is one of the most brilliant people I've ever worked with. He tries to explain